Hello friends, it's Techman Pat here and we have some news for you today. Apologies for the slow release in videos last week. I have had a super busy week, a few flights and managed to catch a cold and still trying to get back on my feet. So excuse me for not jumping for joy on each topic today. I assure you they are quite interesting. Lots of things going on today. So we have the government not wanting to help its citizens, NBN co's build costs rise again, telcos face financial ruin due to the NBN, and a few more. So let's begin with our precious government. A few weeks back and sort of ongoing, we talked about the NBN loss being written off by the government. If that happens, NBN Co will not be in such a big debt, therefore their repayments could be lowered and allow for a restructure of overall costs and expenses. Now, our favorite experts believe the government could reduce the cost of the besieged national broadband network for the end user by writing down the value of its investment. You see, right now, without the write-off, the NBN is required to make money. They need to and cannot let anything like the struggling economy, rising living costs, lack of jobs stop them. However, it's a double-ended sword. It's not like you can go elsewhere to get internet, not until 5G rolls around. You see, if 5G becomes a good alternative, NBN Co will have to lower its prices or provide a better service, which right now they can't do either. And so we're stuck with the NBN. Well, the Finance Minister, Matthias Cormann, said the government is not considering a write-down of its investments into NBN. Overall, it would have an impact on the country's balance sheet, but not on the underlying cash balance. He also said we should be concerned about the Australian government making political decisions about the valuation of its assets. Now, I don't quite understand how he can imagine there will be no political influence on decisions like this. The government is a political body and all decisions are made with that in mind. What do you guys think? Can politics stay out of infrastructure? I don't know. And should the government complete the loan write-off and give NBN Co a chance at survival, or at least a way to earn its value back? Well, continuing on the NBN bandwagon, we see another rise in overall build costs. If you are wondering why the build of your connection is taking so long, this kind of plays a big part. At the end of June this year, the cost per premises jumped to $3,129. Whereas the same time last year, it was $3,058. Now, the last time we talked about this was that jump in costs, and they blamed civil works, which have become more difficult. Now the issue evolves around the technology being implemented. Fiber to the node requires very little civil work, but the fiber to the curb requires a lot more involvement on both ends of the cable. This type of installation has risen by $329 per premises. While fiber to the curb is a much better solution than fiber to the node, in fact, the best solution before fiber to the home, it still requires almost as much civil work to connect. On the HFC side, costs have also risen from $2,258 in mid-2017 to $2,590 in mid-2019. Now, all these rising costs could be due to inflation in general. Things do get more expensive as time goes on, labor costs go up, operating costs, etc. It's not unheard of. NBN Co could also be reaching suburbs and premises that are much harder to connect at this stage of the rollout. I have grown to believe that fiber to the home or premises was a hard cookie to swallow. The cost per premises is still probably too high at this stage, but fiber to the curb is such a good alternative that not only does it not require installation of hardware at the premises itself, it has a much better chance of providing fast services to customers and lead to those customers spending more with NBN Co. If you are on fiber to the curb right now, please comment below and let me know what your experience has been like so far. What kind of speeds have you been able to reach? However, there is a but. Within that installation cost, it doesn't take into account the fact that most in-home wiring is bad. Not so much bad because it's done badly, but bad for how the NBN functions. Many homes will see a huge improvement in service quality if the in-home wiring is reconfigured. Something that NBN Co should really look into as part of the installation, because honestly, it's not that hard. And I know they have talked about it, but I just have seen no steps towards remedying existing connections and new. So on to Telstra. Their profits have stumbled almost 40% last financial year. And it's not because there is now more competition in the marketplace and that Telstra is no longer the monopoly it used to be. No, not at all. Telstra is blaming the new monopoly NBN Co. In their minds, NBN Co is to blame for Telstra's terrible profit slump. So could this be true? Is the NBN actually making things worse for telcos? Well, the fact of the matter is that NBN Co can charge what they want for broadband access because they're a monopoly now. There is no other network provider. But companies like Telstra and Optus can't charge what they want because they can only charge what the customers are willing to pay. My question to companies like Telstra and Optus is, who takes the burden of the connection in this case? And correct me if I'm wrong here, but from my understanding so far, folks like Telstra are just middlemen. NBN Co manages all the physical infrastructure, they bear all the costs in regards to maintenance, upgrades and installations, and all Telstra, Optus, whoever else it might be, has to do is the admin and the billing and maybe some support with dealing with the customers first. They do pass on some faults back to NBN Co anyway. Telstra doesn't have the burden of upkeep for the lines anymore, which reduces their overhead. So why is Telstra and Optus who are complaining about this? I don't hear any other RSPs doing the same. On that note, I read another fun little nugget that due to the Huawei ban in Australia, TVG cannot build a 5G network for cheap anymore. And I suppose that doesn't give much hope for cheap 5G for consumers. In any case, when 5G does come around, and in my area, I'm willing to give it a test, but it's looking pretty good for the NBN right now since 5G is taking a long time. Friends, thanks for watching a short one today, but we shall be back with more content this week. If you like this type of Aussie content, then give us a like and even consider subscribing. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!